Hi, today's good person to know is Sonia Carter. She's head of digital and social media marketing at Mondelez Europe, and her talk is on how they managed to get more fans and likes and sales on social media. It was all because individual cream egg sales were declining, and so they used digital to turn that around. Sonia explains the approach they took. She says it was about being structured on social media and about storytelling at scale. Because over 80% of their consumers, 16 to 24-year-olds, were on a mobile device, all their marketing efforts were built for mobile. She says, think about how your consumers use their mobile devices and what's going to stop them from continually stroking that screen to actually stopping and taking notice. Sonia centers her talk around a 5-stage process. 1, planning. They needed to get recognized, and so they spoke often to get consumers to buy more eggs. 2, platform. They were very specific about which platforms they were concentrating their efforts on to get maximum reach. They knew from research that 99% of Facebook users didn't engage with the ad, they just saw it. And so that was why storytelling was so important. So they set the tone and the style, and they identified key pillars. And once they knew what content they were going to communicate for, they needed to get in front of as many people as possible. So they made a transition from buying fans and followers to having advocates and reaching out to those who are most loyal. So they put money behind every single post, and 5 KPIs and their successes. It all eventually paid off. They got almost 2 million more unique users, 5 million people engaged with their content, and they got 300,000 more fans. Now this video is particularly relevant for anybody who wants to understand the impact of social media and how to do an effective campaign using social media. So I hope you enjoy this video, and thank you for watching.
Took a very, very different approach with Cream Egg in 2013, and that has really, I can't understate it when I say it's revolutionised the way that we approach social media marketing now. So we've developed a structured approach to social media marketing which we call storytelling at scale. It's about selling literally billions of products to hundreds of millions of people across the world. In the Cream Egg example, we knew that that target market was going to be over 80% were going to be consuming their social media on a mobile device, so everything was built for mobile. Time and time again, we see that social media marketing is not clearly aligned to our marketing objectives. We don't see this is a brand that needs to increase its market share by X% by targeting this consumer who we know are on social, and that's what we need to start seeing. Me looking at Facebook basically looks like this. It is just about getting people to stop for that fraction of a second on some great content on Twitter, Facebook or YouTube and move on. And too often our social activity relies on people doing stuff. What did we do about it? And I'll take you through what we did with Cream Egg. The single sales had really been going down. So there was a business decision to try and reverse that decline by focusing on 16 to 24s. What this social media purpose had in one sentence was we were telling everyone involved that we needed to speak often. We needed to speak often because we actually wanted people to go and buy the eggs. There was a sales purpose in there. We wanted to get across the fact that cream eggs are only sold from January the 1st until Easter. Then they are not sold. So we needed to get across that time-limited nature. We needed to entertain our consumers, and we needed it to be focused in the newsfeed, and that was really, really important. We didn't want to take people off to a Facebook app. We didn't want to take them off to a microsite. We wanted to do it all in the newsfeed, and we wanted to encourage them to have a fling, which was part of the TV and outdoor campaign. So we wanted it to resonate and be a really integrated campaign. So when it comes to social media platforms, I think that a lot of people tend to be like kids in the candy store, and we're just like, I just want to have a bit of everything. I want a bit of Snapchat, I want a bit of WhatsApp, I want a bit of everything because I've heard that they're all really cool. I've got to be on Pinterest. You can imagine as a food company, we might think that Pinterest was a massive play for us. But we actually, when we looked at the data for this demographic, we just could not get the scale. So we had to be really, really, really focused on the platforms that were going to give us scale with this demographic. The mix for Cream Egg was a big, big play on Facebook with a little bit of activity across Twitter. Cadbury has one of the largest Google Plus pages in the world. We're one of the first brands on there. I don't know how many millions it's up to now, but we actually find that we get incredible reach and engagement on Google Plus, so it was really important for us to have it on there. Wider marketing mix here, we had 10-second TV spots, we had a great PR campaign, and we also had lots of outdoor that were getting across that message. My favourite bit, which is content, and this is why content is really important. So Nilla Wafers is one of our brands in the US. And they were part of a study across about 50 FMCG brands in the States, where they tracked, with a company called Datalogics, the impact of people being served Facebook posts and whether that impacted on their sales. The most important thing that I think came out of it was the fact that of the sales that they could see were driven by Facebook, 99% of those were driven by people who just saw a post. They didn't like, they didn't share, they didn't comment. All they have to do is see it. It's like TV, they just need to see it. So that has meant that we have to put a huge amount of effort on storytelling. And how do we get to really great content? Well, you know, advertisers for years, there is a little bit of magic to what makes a great TV ad, what makes a great piece of YouTube content, what makes a great Facebook campaign. About 30 people in the room to go through and basically work through what the tone of voice was, what the visual styles were, and what the pillars were. So the content pillars that we identified in 2014. The keys is because if you know Cadbury Cream Egg, if you've seen TV advertising over the last few years, you know it's pretty cheeky. So this was a content pillar all about quick bits of content that were culturally relevant that would make our consumers laugh. We had to have a hard, fast start in January. We needed to get across that you had to go mental for cream eggs right from January the 1st. So this was National Obsession, where we had lots of posts about people who were just completely bonkers for cream egg. Your cream egg fling again echoed all of the stuff that people were seeing on TV and outdoor. Gooey, eggy, yum, that lot of data on what posts were working, and we knew that consumers loved it when we posted anything that had actual chocolate in the picture, so we knew we had to have a pillar that was about the product. We had great content, but as I said, scale. So it's storytelling at scale. It's really important for us to get this in front of as many people as possible. We have transitioned from buying fans and followers to actually using our investment for reach. We used to tout the value of fans being about advocacy and loyalty, so people were going to be buying repeat purchases. Now we look to them to help us ascertain which is the content that's working, and within Facebook specifically, they can actually increase the media effectiveness, because if you see a post, we're friends on Facebook, you see something from Toblerone and you see Sonia likes Toblerone, you have a much higher propensity to purchase based on that. So they are incredibly important to us. We needed to take this approach of using that 2 million people to actually talk to as many people as possible, and that would lead to the sales. So we actually reached over 15 million people in our demographic. The reason we didn't reach any more of that is because there wasn't any more than 15 million 16 to 24-year-olds on Facebook at the time. So if you're a brand and you're super excited about 100,000 fans, I think you'd be much more excited about the fact that you have reached millions of people, and I think that's the metric that we need as marketers need to start being excited about, is the reach rather than the number of fans. We put money behind every single post this year. Posted something, we assessed how viral it had gone. If it worked really, really well, then we put a big slug of media behind that to get the reach. So these are some of the figures that I mentioned. So 15.2 million reach in 2013, went up to 17 million this year as we expanded the target audience. Even though our aim wasn't engagement, we still got nearly 5 million engagements, and our aim wasn't to increase our fans, but we actually increased that by 300,000. And the pie chart on the left was the first time in the business that we had seen the impact in the same way that we had measured TV and outdoor.